I met a gypsy.
Well, I wonder that's sort of what I wanted to ask, right? Like, I think it's kind of a fuck up. Like, unless you do what Jed did and you go real young and like you just plant your roots down and you just like, I'm staying in Europe, I'm gonna make it happen, I'm gonna figure it out. Like, if you do the Australia thing and you don't do that, like go from lights bike here to lights bike there. If you go lights bike, kill it, 450, kill it, like where Cloudy and Regan are right now, and then you go back to America on a lights bike, that's not the move to me. Like, I think that if you either go, you do what Jet and Hunter did, and what Jed's done, and you go to Europe and then you do the lights thing and then you go on a 450. But I think that if you've ever raced a 450 and if you've done seasons on a 450 and if you've won titles on a 450, you can't go back. You can't go back into the class. Like, if Regan went to America right now and raced 250 class, he'd get fucking smoked, I reckon. But if Regan went on a 450 and he had like a factory KTM and he went to Southwick, top 5.
Yeah, but so you gotta see what the classes are. So for me, like MXGP is a good example. So will the top 5 MX2 guys, will they win in MX1?
Don't think so.
Nah.
No.
Will they get top 10? Probably not.
Depends, I reckon.
Yeah.
But there'd be a couple of guys, I reckon.
Yeah.
But like you think about the way that Cloudy went, right?
Yeah.
At Manji, for example, like, and Regan, man, like Regan should have won those races, but Cloudy fucking stole that from him. Like, he stole he stole the hot chick of the dance at Manji Mum. But it's like, I just think when you've put in that time and you've put in the time to learn how to ride a 450 and your fitness is revolved around riding a 450 and like you're dialed in on that program, to go back to a lights bike on new tracks and new class and like it's a different style of ride. Like, I think too, on a lights bike, the way that Americans ride a lights bike is crazy different. Yeah. Like, it's such a different style, different intensity. Like, I feel like you can get lost in that. I feel like there's kind of only really, like, once you reach the top echelon of 450s, you're riding the bike the same. Yeah. In my opinion. Like, I don't think the style changes that much. But I just think it's a mistake for guys to go and ride, go backwards to ride a lights bike and try and rebuild their career. It's like, you've already built your career. Whereas, you know, Jed, he built his lights career here, won the title, then he's still in his lights career. So I reckon that's the thing that trips a lot of people up. And I would back that if Cloudy did what like Ferris did, when Ferris went over and got on the podium at High Point, I just think you'd see the same thing. Yeah. Like, a guy that's dialed in on his bike, he's on a 450, like, just don't step back.
Yeah, but Ferris, going back on that, Ferris is a good example because he was here racing with me on 450. He built a 450 career. Yeah. And winning races. Like, he was a top 450 guy here in Australia. Then he goes to Europe and he rides for Ice One on the Kawasaki on the 450. He had some good results and stuff. Then he signed for Dixon on the 250. Yeah. Then you've seen him stand on the top step.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. Yeah. But that bike was insanely good. Yeah, but the insanely good.
Yeah, but the bikes are good in Europe. Like,
yeah, but see that, so that Cosworth, he had that 3-speed Cosworth in that bike. So like, he was whole shot in 450s at Motocross of Nations. Like, he just got lucky, I think, on I don't think that's probably the wrong way to say it. Yeah. I think that in the same way that, like, so if you're on like Ty Masterpool, good example, like he was on Star Yamaha last year. Even I was talking to a guy about this the other day and he's like, man, it was impossible to pass that dude at Redbud on a Star Yamaha. Yeah. And he's like, this year I passed him like he was fucking standing still. Yeah. So I think that right time, right bike, right place. I'm not taking anything away from Ferris. I think he would have done it regardless. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just think that when you've got the momentum that Cloudy does on a 450 and Regan does on a 450, like, why go backwards and relearn this whole new thing? Yeah,
but like, it's riding a bike. Like, for me, a good example is the Rockhampton King of the Capricorn last year.
Yeah, true.
You know, like, I haven't ridden a 250 since 2012, and Regan's bike was sitting there, and the boys were calling me out. So I went out to Willowbank on Wednesday, the week before. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Jace, we'll do like a race simulation. So I go out on the 250. Like, so we do a 30-minute session and we do practice qualifying. Yeah. So first 10 minutes is practice and then qualifying the rest. So I lay down laps, like, you know, pushing, but just comfortably. Then I go back on the 450 and I go out for the exact same thing. And I'm out in the 10 minutes. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be like 5 seconds faster on this 450. Coming out of the turns, just like so much power. It's ridiculous. I go around 2 seconds slower. What the hell? Like, so I start wicking it up. I'd start pushing seconds slower. I'm like, oh man, like I pushed like hell, not like I did on the 250. I pushed like hell. I mean, like nearly crashing and stuff. And I matched the lap time. And
That's insane.
I was just like, so for that day, I'm on this 250 and I'm riding around just going, wow, this is such a nice bike. I was like, I hit a bump, don't even feel it. Come in the turn, I hit the turn. On 450, I come in, picks up on the bump, pushes the front. When I get on the gas, the thing's just sliding and wheeling and like, they are shitboxes 450s. Like, I like 450s because you need to know how to ride a 450. Like when the track gets rough, up a gear, carry momentum, hop things, you got to play with a 450, not 250. 250 is the best bike you can ever ride. Like that Husqvarna 250 that Regan had that Jason built. I was just like, this thing is the best bike I've ever ridden. Like hands down, because I've ridden 450 since I was 18. So I can't even remember what 250s are like. And it felt exactly like my 450, a little bit slower, but the best handling. It felt like I had like the most factory tires you can ever have on a motorbike. I couldn't get the front to push. Like I'd just come in, when I'd back off, it'd just go like this. It'd stick. And then when I get on the gas, it'd just wheelie out. No like, trying to flick you off. Like, you know, so at Rockhampton, I'm 80 kilos, 82 kilos. And Jay Wilson's there giving me some smack and, oh man, you won't get off the start. You're too heavy on that thing, blah, blah. I pull the biggest hole shot, going like this down. Like, what the hell? Like, and you can just ride the wheels off the things. So for me, like, I don't doubt 1 second if you put Regan or you put Cloudy on a 250, they're going to ride it fast, you know? So that's an example of like, when you can ride a bike, you can ride a bike. Yes, I was always, as a younger kid, I'd ride 250 and 450. And at the state titles, I'd smoke everyone on a 450 as a 16-year-old kid. And then I'd be like battling, trying to win races on the 250. Yeah. So that's why I stepped up early. Yeah. Because I felt I rode a bigger bike better. But for Regan, you got to look at as well. You know, let's say we go to Europe and we go, okay, do I go in the 250 class or do I go in the 450 class? Well, the 450 class, there's 10 dudes that are world champions. Like, yeah, they know how to win 19 rounds around the world. Yeah. They know what they're doing, you know. Then I look at like the 250 class and it's like, okay, there's a French kid, like, you know, he hasn't won a championship yet. He's winning races. There's this guy, like, yeah, you know, he's really fast, but then he crashes here. He's no good on hard pack. Or this dude's real good in sand, like, you know. So that's what I look at. It's like when Dean was over there, Dean, you know, he would put it on the box in like hard pack and like ruddy conditions, you know, but then go in the sand and hurlings, it's just like ridiculous. You know, I remember watching Dean at Valkenswaard the last round. I think he placed 7th. You know, a few weeks before he stand on top step of the podium. You know, and that's how
big of a difference
it is. Yeah. But that ain't in the MXGP class.
Yeah, the same dudes.
You're just 7th, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then the next weekend you're 15th. Yeah. You know, like it's not, they know what they're doing. And that's like in America, Tomac knows what he's doing. Roxon knows what he's doing. You know, Barsha knows what he's doing. Like these dudes, you name them, you know, down the list and you're like, oh, we're at like 7th now or 5th.
Yeah,
you know?
We're still champs.
Like we're pretty heavy hitters, you know. Whereas then we go in the 250 class and it's like, you know, Hunter went 1-1. You know, Jets, he's won some races, like, you know, but there's like up and downs.
Well, there'll be like 6. I think there's already like 6 or 7 different winners in the 250 class.
Yeah, there's like some up and downs, like, because they're young, they're learning, they're progressing, they're working it out. You know, they're having problems with teams. There's girlfriends, there's all this stuff. No, there's none of that in the 450 class. Ken Roxon, no, he's got a wife. You know, he's got trainers. Like,
yeah,
you know,
his program is dialed. He's been working on his program for years.
Man, like, have you seen his calf muscles, man?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they're so solid. So for me, it's a great idea to go 450, but that's exactly what I did. I went straight over. But for me, it was like, man, like these, like, you know, at Madura, like I passed Caroli, you know, that got me on the podium. But I never seen the dude ever again.
It's so fucking heavy when you actually look at it like that, eh? If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.